Okay, worked last night on the Pontiac, Montana, the 2004 Pontiac, Montana, to almost midnight, trying to replace the front struts. And it has turned out to be a real challenge. I think these three bolts right here are going to be pretty tough. This is the driver's side, and the passenger side even seems to be a little tighter yet. So I just want to try to pre-soak those bolts a little bit. Okay, here's the new struts I got from AutoZone. Oh, nah, get out of here. One, no play toy for you. I got these from AutoZone. They were roughly $139 a piece, but they had a nice special going on. You got like 25% off if you ordered within a couple days. The back shocks I got from O'Reilly's, and those were KYB Gas-a-just. So I went to AutoZone. AutoZone didn't charge me any shipping at all, and with that coupon, the total deal before tax was like $210. So I thought that was a pretty good price. Here they are. I mean, I can understand why the shipping was a little bit, because they are heavy duty. No doubt about that. You can play with that box if you want to, little dog. Here they are. KYB Strut-plus. They're a nice system here. As you can see, that's what they call a strut assembly. Everything is ready to go. And they would compress this spring and replace this shock strut on the inside. But now they come in one piece. I mean, you can still do it the old-fashioned way. But man, I don't know why you'd want to do that. You know, these were a little over $100 for the complete setup. They come with these plastic caps, protect the threads on top. That's nice. So it's a pretty good system. I think I am going to look through these instructions right here and see if there's anything that I can do to solve my problem with the hose not lining up. KYB Strut-plus. Nice. Heavy duty. Okay, so there's the old one, the new one, and you can see they're the same size. So the problem with the hose not fitting up is not because the new shock is longer. Okay, on it, I can tell that this spring is beefier. It's got, you have 1, 2, 3 coils, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 coils on this one. So the spring looks a little beefier on it. Okay, I was going to start this project tomorrow morning, but before I even begin to start it, I kind of want to just look around and kind of explore a little bit and see if I'm even going to be able to do this project. For instance, like this wiper motor right here. If I can't get that out of the way, there's no sense even trying to start. Once again, I like to surgically remove things. I want to figure it out. I want to come up with a plan before I just dive into it, tear a bunch of stuff apart, and then realize I can't do it anyways. On the driver's side, there was this little box here. Box mounted right here on the firewall. This here. And it held this box in there. I'm not exactly sure. It looks like it possibly controls maybe acceleration. Looks like it's got some electronics in it. Don't really know for sure, but it was mounted. This box here was mounted right here. And I went ahead and took it loose because that gave me more room to try to get back here and get to these screws. Took the wiper arm loose. This wiper arm right here, I took it loose. It actually went and hooked right up here, but I took it loose and I'm able to get it out of the way, and that freed up some room for me down here. I jacked up the driver's side, front side, double system, safety system going there, and I want to go ahead and soak those down good. Those out, loosen the ones up above, and everything should come apart. These bolts have got splines on them, so whenever I go to take them out, I'm probably going to have to tap them out, and then eventually once I get them out, the new strut should fit right up in there. Okay, so I got a deep well, and that works just fine. Okay, so now I've got my piece of pipe here that I actually used when I put the shocks on the back, the rear shocks, the other day. And then I'm going to slip this piece of pipe over the top, and that gives me a lot more leverage. So let's see if this guy's going to break loose. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I tell you what, a piece of pipe like that, leverage is so important on anything that you do, because it just adds so many more pounds of torque. I'm going to leave those on there for added protection, and then I'm going to pop these right here and get that to move out. That should have splines on this side right here. Okay, so those studs seem to be pretty tight in there. And I know one guy in particular talked about whenever he went to remove these studs, he actually put a jack underneath here, underneath this area right here, and lifted a little bit in order to take the pressure, because all of this is hanging on these two studs right here. It's all being held together. Now here's where I got to be extremely careful, because I don't want to add too much pressure and lift it off my jack stands, and my jacks, which are right there. I'm now underneath it like that, right there. So I want to be sure and back up a little bit. You never want to have your hands or your legs. I see guys work on cars and they have their legs underneath there. That's always seems to be extremely dangerous to me. I always try to stay back as much as possible. There it goes. Okay, there it started to go right there. So I guess that's what it takes. I mean, the fact that it has these splines in there tells me that it's going to be a pretty tight fit. There we go. That's going to do it. All right. Okay. It looks like that took care of it. Putting that little bit of pressure at the bottom, I was able to hit them. They're now on their way out. So now I'm going to go at the top. I'm going to take the tops loose, and then I'll come back and I'll get these out. Hopefully the strut will come out. The new strut will go right back in. I tell you what, this is one beefy unit right here. KYB, I am so impressed with their product. I can only imagine once I get these on the 2004 Pontiac Montana, it is going to ride down the road so nice. This is going to work out pretty good. I got to get the old ones off first. Hopefully these will bolt right in, and I'll be ready to rock and roll. About the best way to get to these bolts would be to get you a wrench like this. And this is what they call a socket wrench. So once I get it on there, I can just go back and forth, and it'll work just like a socket. Get this put on there, just like that. That's a 15 millimeter. Once you get it on there, isn't that nice the way that works? I got 3 nuts off the top. I've got the jack supporting this whole system from underneath. So this should not drop down. That's what some of the videos were saying. You got to watch it because you got a brake line, you got control arms, you got a lot of stuff going on here, and you don't want to just lose this whole thing and have it fall. But I think because that jack's underneath there, it's not going to. I guess I got to be ready though, because when I knock these off, the fact that this is not supported at the top anymore tells me it could want to come out of there. And in fact, I guess I will need to let my jack down in order for it to slip out the top. Main thing is I'm going to keep my feet and my hands and everything away from, in case something catastrophically goes wrong, at least it'll hurt the Montana and not me. I actually have my tire underneath the front bumper up there too. Alright, so let's go ahead and knock one of these out here. I see the splines. Okay, so you can see the splines on there. That's why the videos on YouTube are important, because if I was going to take this boat out, it didn't come out easily, I would be worried that maybe the boat was bent, but when you put splines like that, it's going to stick on there pretty daggone good. It's wanting to push back, so I'm going to let a little pressure off this jack right here, because I think I want it to come forward. I don't want to push back like that. And I think that's why this stud is still holding on there pretty strong. I think I'm going to lower my jack down a little bit farther. Old strut out. It was a struggle though. It just wasn't as easy as I thought. I thought I'd knock those bolts out and it would fall out, you know, just basically come out, but it took a lot of jiggling and hammering and moving around and all kind of things in order to get this out. This is going to be a challenge to see how this new one goes in. I think lining these boat hoses are going to be the real challenge, trying to put the other one in. We're going to see how it goes. Can't stop now. The old Montana needs me. Was able to get the new strut to set up in there. The help of Miss Melissa up above. She was able to get the boat started. By myself, no way. There's no way to get the strut and to be down here and try to hold it up into place. There's no way to even reach in there. So you got to have two people do this project. There's no doubt about that. Because now I've got it in here, you can see it's kind of a twisted mess going on here. This will twist a little bit. I got to get this back into position right here and try to line everything up. So I'm going to struggle with that and see if I can't do some good. Trying to replace the front struts, and it has turned out to be a real challenge. I thought it might be probably a little bit over my head on this one. So I'm going to give it a shot, keep trying. I might have to call in some professional help here. I don't know. It's kind of dangerous with these struts too. It's always a little bit easier to work in the daytime too. I've got garage lights, but as you can see on the video last night, it's always a little bit dark, even with all the lights that I have. So the problem that I'm having is I've got the strut, it is mounted up above. And I got the screws put on, all 3 screws are put on. So the strut is mounted at the top. The problem I'm having is the hose aren't even close to lining up. Everything that I've noticed on the videos that I've watched is that this caliper, this unit here, when you take the strut off, it falls down, or it comes down. That's why I've got my wood underneath here. I didn't want it to come all the way down too far and end up hurting the brake line. For some reason on the Pontiac Montana, it doesn't seem to be falling down. It just seems to almost be staying in place. And I think that's one of my problems here is that you can see this hole here has got to line up with this one. And in order for that to happen, it seems like it's got to drop down. Try to take a crowbar and like stick it in here and pry down, which will pry this rotor down. See, it'll move a little bit. So to pry it down, and maybe if I get it close enough, I can get a screwdriver stuck in there to hold it in place, and then I can go ahead and put the studs, pound the studs in. Got my little dog here today. Hey, don't you think about it. Don't you even think about it. It should not even enter a puppy head. You should go find something to do. Trying to get these boat hoses to line up. And you can see I'm getting a lot closer, but no cigar just yet. I got this crowbar and I'm able to push this wheel knuckle down. Every video that I've seen, this wheel knuckle falls down and everybody just lifts it up and it goes in. For some reason, this wheel knuckle is not wanting to go down. It's wanting to stay in place. So I'm having to force it down. A lot of tension on it. A lot of tension. I'm getting close. I'm probably within 1/8 of an inch or so of getting this to go down. Success. You're working in the garage, try to get your head down for your knees. I got the bolts in. What I had to do was I took a crowbar, I guess right here, and I was able to get up inside here and pry down, but that still wasn't enough. I ended up taking some of these shims, and I'd put a shim in there like that, put a piece of shim in there, and then I'd reach in there and keep pulling it down, and each time I'd go a little bit farther, a little bit farther. Eventually I was able to get a screwdriver to go in the hole to kind of hold it, get a little bit more leverage, try it again, and eventually I was able to get the studs in. I think I'm a little bit over my head on this project. That's the splines. What I'm doing there is those boats have splines on them, and you're actually running the splines through this big thick piece of aluminum, this knuckle, and it's actually cutting new grooves it's going through. That's why you got to have a pretty good size hammer to do this. Watch your brake line so you don't hit your brake line. At this point right here, I got the top done. I'll just put all this back together. I'm glad to see those go on. Man, oh man. 2004 Pontiac, Montana. I hope you appreciate this work. Boonie voice. Gotta put the extra boonie power in it because I got. Okay, I think this is all done. Ouch! Smash my finger! There we go! Woo! Damn, this thing's beating on me. I'm telling you, I don't know. Alright, so there's the old strut. Looks like it's been in there for a while, man. That shock down in there is rusted big time. The only way to do this is with the strut from down below and the bolts sticking up through this fender, is to have someone else try to put them on. That is tough. On the passenger side, in the 2004 Pontiac, Montana, the 3 boats that come up, and you've got to put a nut on each one of them, is a tough get. They are very difficult, but got it eventually. The only way to do it is with a ratchet wrench. I can't imagine trying to do it with a regular wrench. I think it'd almost be impossible. But with a ratchet wrench, 15 millimeters, if you keep working on it, can get it. Got the 3 nuts up on top, and they are tightened down. This is where I really had trouble last night, and I ended up working till midnight, and I ended up quitting. Got up this morning, ate some breakfast, tried to find a few more videos. Everybody just zooms through it so fast, they don't show this part here, or if they show it, it all just goes back together real simple. They put the bolt in and they're done. See, the problem I have is this, what they call wheel knuckle, is higher than the shock. Well, that's farther than I got last night. Now here is where I've got to take a crowbar, and I stick a crowbar in here, pry it down, which lowers the knuckle so I can get the screws through here. My dog's outside going crazy here. The knuckle goes down. Okay, so I got my crowbar in there. Okay. There's boat number 1. That's good. There's boat number 2. I tell you, driving those spines in there are tough. Yesterday I was trying to figure out how to push this down and get that to work. Well, now I know. Crowbar. Crowbar in there, bring down, it'll line it up for you. The 2004 Pontiac Montana. New back shocks, KYB Gas-a-just, and now it's got the KYB Strut-plus. I can already tell it sits better. The front end before was a little bit low. It sets up real nice. Gonna take it out for a little test drive here. When I put the back shocks on about a week ago when I took that road trip, going down the highway at about 70, 75 mile an hour, I'd come over maybe like a bridge. You could feel the back would just take the bump real nice, just smooth. But the front bounced like twice. And I knew at that point right there, the back's looking good. The back has been reinforced with a helping hand with the Gas-a-just KYBs. Now I've got these major struts up front. I think it's gonna be pretty nice. Glad you dropped by. I hope that helped. Hit that like button, but be careful. If you decide to do this project, you know, I like doing a lot of projects myself. I don't know what a mechanic would have charged to install these. I'm thinking $200 or $300 maybe. That's for labor, and then the shocks on top of that. I always want to be honest with everybody out there and just let them know. If you decide to do this project, just be careful. It's dangerous. You know, a lot of things could have went wrong. I smashed some fingers a couple times. You know, my knees hurt from being on the concrete. Even though I had a pad underneath them, it's just tough working like that. I'm thinking it took probably about 8 hours for me to do this total. Now, if I had to do it again, it'd probably take me two or three maybe. Well, thank you for coming to the channel. LAF Space Film Fest, capital LAF Space Film Fest. I've got my Project Montana done for today. No telling what I'll do. Might grab my new camera and go out and start filming. You'll be seeing a video of that pretty soon. Added to the LAF collection of equipment, bought me a Canon M50 Mark II. Ooh, smooth. Have a good day.